if I die today, what will I leave behind? All right, what will people remember me of?
I hate my boss, I hate my job, I've never been promoted for the last 10 years. But when you ask them, okay, what did you do about it? There's no answer.
And the answer is very simple. Get out from your comfort zone.
Where do they start? What do they invest in? How much do they need?
When you become financially free, you actually perform better.
That people earn money and consume it fully, immediately.
You should manage your finance in such a way you can at least can survive 1 month without a salary.
In your interaction on social media, of course, you get all sorts of people. Some people agree with what you say, some people disagree.
They had 1 million to 1.5 million Riyal Omani.
MashaAllah.
I got so much heat about that tweet because a lot of people couldn't understand it.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome to Dome Podcast, and I'm your host, Hatim Abdissalaam. And today we're going to talk about something that is dear to my heart. We're going to talk about financial literacy. And today my honorable guest is Eng.Salim Al Harthy, who is a CEO for one of the reputable companies in Oman. He is a serial entrepreneur and an avid investor. He has over 25 years experience in the world of business, finance, leadership, and investing. And he is currently preparing for his PhD in entrepreneurship and management. Welcome, Mr. Salim, to the show.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hatim. It's an honor to be here.
Engineer Salim, I've been following for quite some time, and I was very interested to see the content that you do for the people. I wanted to ask you in the beginning, what got you interested into this area of financial literacy and also educating others in this matter?
Okay, what got me in this initially is my upbringing. And I thank my mother very much. She always taught me the value of money and the importance of saving.
Yes.
And as well, the cautious of taking loan. When I say cautious, means that one need to think twice before putting him or herself into that situation.
Being indebted.
Indebted, basically, yes. And because of that, I have achieved success in the financial world just for that basic advice that I got from my mother, right? And I noticed the people around me or our community in general that they didn't have that, that privilege of what I was taught when I was young, and I thought this is a huge gap, and it's time for me to speak up, to share my experience, so as much people, to gain knowledge out of it, and that's the basic where it all started, and it's amazing how when I started, how people really got engaged. And really, take up the situation very seriously, which only tells me that indeed this is a gap, right?
Yeah, and I understand, Engineer Salim, that you might have, some people might have a privilege to get the knowledge from an early age, but also there's a lot of circumstances where misconceptions are spread among young people about financial literacy or financial matters, which are very wrong, which are, affecting our lives. And that's why we grow up with these wrong concepts and make us take wrong decisions.
Indeed, and that's exactly why the book Poor Dad, Rich Dad became so famous. Because if you see the poor dad point of view is what we've been taught since we were young, okay? You work very hard, you get a degree, and you get a job, work from 9 to 5 until retirement.
Yes.
So that's the old mindset, and unfortunately is still the current mindset. Where the rich dad point of view is that no, you need to start working smarter, you need to find other means of investment, and depending highly on your employer is the wrong way to do it, because you will not achieve your financial freedom, right? It's all about leveraging your time to make more money. So that's two different ideology need to shift from the old one to the new one. And the new one is how I see the world and industry is heading to. Before, yes, getting a job in one of a reputable company made sense, but as you can see with how Oman is shifting, it's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
Because the population are increasing, our economic sense is changing. So people need to understand that it's not about getting a job, it's about how you can bring up your skills so that you can make different means of income as much as possible.
Brother Salim, it is very strange that if you look at the history of Omanis, they were always businessmen and merchants.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think that this would be cascaded to the younger generation. But in our generation and the generation to come as well, we were very far from this business mentality or business mind. We were always focused on getting a job, and that's our only source of income. Let us talk a little bit about income. What is an income, and where can an income come from?
The way how I define income is two types. There's the passive income and the active income.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So when you say active, it comes from the word action. So it's what you do to make money. So anything that you put your hours in, all right, that's an active income. So for example, a job, so that's an active income,
yes.
right? So consultancy, putting your own hours, that's an active income. Okay, passive income, in a nutshell, is you make money while you sleep, all right? So where you make money where you don't put your hours as much. A good example will be you're building a house and you're getting rent. So that's passive income, so, right? Investing in stocks where you end up getting dividends. So you make money while you sleep.
Yes.
So our end objective is how to shift from active income to passive income. That's our goal. Obviously, initially, you have to start somewhere with an active income, all right? But the goal is to achieve financial freedom, you need to find ways and means to come to a point where you don't depend on a single source, okay, to lead your life. Once you reach to that position, then you are free financially. And those are the two types of income.
There are some challenges with the people who want to move into the passive income, is that, first of all, they struggle with the capital. There's an idea out there that you have to have a huge capital to be able to have a passive income, like rent, the one you mentioned. And the second thing is that we go to the traditional passive incomes like everybody else, and then we end up also not, succeeding in that income. So someone would say, okay, there are a few tea shops, then I will also open another tea shop or another burger place, and then we end up doing the same thing and it doesn't work out. So when it comes to making decisions, first of all, when it comes to the capital, do you actually need, a huge amount of capital to start and move towards the passive income?
Well, the answer is no. It all depends what sort of investment you're targeting, right? The way how I see it, I divide investment into, I will say, three, right?
Yes.
Number one is real estate.
Yes.
Number two, you establish your own business, obviously. And number three is investing in the stock market. Those are the three key investments.
Yes.
Other things are just side hustle, if you want to call it. Okay, each and every investment has its own advantage and disadvantage, right? Okay, when you talk about real estate, then obviously the disadvantage, you require a capital, right? But if you go to stock market, you don't need that much of capital. You can even enter with a 50 riyal per month.
Yes.
Okay, and invest it in a smart way, in a proper mutual funds and what have you. Okay, establish a business, it works both ways. For example, my first business when I established, which I sold 10 years ago, I started with the 50 riyals only. All right?
Inshallah.
It all depends how you identify the gap and how fast you grab that gap, right? The business that I'm talking about is real estate as well. You know, I entered, I established a website, all right, and then I took photos of all the house renting that I wanted to be rented, and I put it on the website, and I put it on a Google ad, and before I know it, I get people asking all around the world how to rent that particular house in Oman. Okay, so what I did here is that I found a way how to be scalable. You know, people...
You found a gap. You mentioned the word gap.
I found a gap, and not only that, my way of choosing a certain business is obviously it should be a value. You're giving value to your customer, which I did, and also it should be scalable. What I mean by scalable is that at the end of the day, we all have a limit time, right? There's only 24 hours per day, all right? You can choose to work very hard, or you can choose to work very smart. Going back to those burgers, all right, I consider those people are working very hard because at the end of the day, it's not scalable. You got what I'm saying? You have so much chairs in that burger shop. You have so much staff. So and
so much competition as well.
Exactly, so much competition. So you reach to the point that you put all your hours and then your profit will be limited. صح ولا لا؟
صح.
All right. So now my style is that no, I could have easily opened a real estate company and do like everybody else is go knock every house and renting and all. I said, no, let me find a way where I could meet as much people as possible in the minimum time. Because time is everything. Time is everything. So instead of me losing all my 8 hours, okay, I can spend 2 hours on the website and use the remaining 6 hours in something I want to do or something that I love to do, or maybe use that other hours to, you know, to establish another business, for example. So that was always my mindset because I very early on, I understand the value of time. And that's very, very powerful concept. Many people, they don't get that. I'll give another example. Yes. Okay, when I established my dishdash business, by the way, this is one of them.
MashaAllah.
The concept was never to open a dishdash shop. The concept was I took time, I developed a website, highly sophisticated website by the help of a German company, is where customers such as yourself can come in, measure your dishdash online in a what do you call this? In
virtual
reality way, so that they can get their dishdash design properly fit, sent to them, and this way I could cover as much people as possible
without having to come
exactly. All right.
Okay.
So that concept didn't work. Yes. That concept failed. Clearly, Oman is not ready for that.
Yes.
Okay. And
people still go to the market and touch the fabric and
even
so
though the brand it was very powerful, and until this very day people say, Salim, why did you close it? I said, I didn't close it because I was losing money. I closed it because I didn't see value for the time.
Yes.
You got, because at one point I was going to the shop per day 5 to 6 hours. I said, what am I doing? Okay, I'm losing time. My time is very valuable to me. I could do something else. Even though I was making profit, I shut down my company. People are very surprised because the power of time is very, very powerful. You got my point, yeah?
Yes.
So does it require high capital? No. There are millions of examples out there that people establish their company from zero. All this Apple, Google, these people establish their company from a garage. So don't tell me you need a capital to start. You need an amazing idea. You need idea that has value. You need passion, and somebody will always invest in you, or family will invest in you, or you'll find a way. It's passion that should drive you, not money. Money will always come back.
There's a fear of making money, Salim. A lot of people think that I didn't go to business school. I'm not qualified. I don't have the knowledge. And at the same time, I have the fear of taking risk. And most of the time when you talk to students and you tell them, okay, this month I want you to earn at least 1 riyal, only 1 riyal as an earning. They struggle in that because they have the fear of not having the knowledge, and also they have the fear of the outcome. So if I go and advertise for this second-hand mobile that I want to sell it, I have the fear of the reaction from the market. We have, I don't know why, we have the fear of failing, while failing is something that helps you to develop.
I
So
agree.
how can we get them out of that cycle?
I agree, and this is all what you mentioned is how we teach our children from the young age and the environment they're in. Because when it comes to investing or establishing a business, it's all about mindset. Mindset is very, very powerful tool. When you talk about fear and risk, life is all about taking risk.
Yes.
The fact that I came from home to here, I took a risk. Somewhere I could have, subhanAllah, have an accident.
Yes.
Life is all about risk. So if you tell me you don't want to take risk, then you actually telling me you don't want life. Simple as that. Right or wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
And this goes back to the misconceptions we
Yes.
learn.
Yes.
Yeah, we're always been told that, don't take risk. If you have one bird in your hand, then forget about the 10 on the tree and so on.
So people need to change that ideology that risk is bad. Actually, risk is risk. Life is risk. And without risk, I'm afraid life will become boring. All right? And one need to understand there's a huge difference for those who consider themselves poor and for those who consider themselves temporarily broke.
Yes.
I'll give an example. Two people. One of them may have 300 riyal in their bank account, and the other one will have the same amount, 300 riyal in their bank account. One will say, oh my God, how will I survive until the end of this month? I have only 300 riyal. Oh, I'm in trouble. How will I pay? And all those fearful thoughts. The other guy said, no, how can I make more money now? I'm sure there's somewhere I can make more money. Maybe I should go and do some podcasts, or I should do. You see those different mindset. Even though they have the same money, but this guy mindset, he's temporarily broke. He knows that he's in this situation in a temporary manner. It's only a matter of time. I'll make more money. The other one, he has a mindset of poor. He believes that he cannot money. Then I'm afraid nothing can be done. So it's all about changing mindset from the young age and accept the fact that life is all about risk. All right, and you mentioned one example: one in the hand worth 10 in the bush. Right. The problem that one in the hand is still you're losing. For example, let's say a person who's saving his money in a bank. Right, he saves 5,000 riyal rather than investing. Did you know that keeping money in the bank, you're actually burning your money because of the inflation? People that don't realize that, 5,000 riyal. 30 years ago, you could buy a land in Shato Qaram. You can't do that anymore now.
Unfortunately.
So with time, money loses value. So when you tell me I'm saving your money, I'm telling you, you're a fool. You are burning your money by the fact keeping it there. All right? So you have two choices. Either spend it, might as well spend it, or do something about it. By keeping a plan, you're burning it.
Yeah, I want you to elaborate a little bit more about the saving culture, because we've been bombarded so much by this idea you need to save for a rainy day. Save. Just put it. And when I was working in the finance department, I was sent to one of the banks for training. And I realized that the more you save, the more money you're making for the bank. Because they invest in your money. And then they charge you for services.
Exactly.
Yeah? So why do we save? Because you have the two extremes. The first extreme, people who spend. If I get 500 riyals per month, finish it before the end of the month. The others are, they are stingy, they humiliate themselves, they want to go to have dinner, they say, no, I better save for a rainy day, and they die before even enjoying that money, and that money then is inherited by someone else. So these two extremes, how can we balance?
But when you say you're saving for the rainy day, that's all and good, provided that money you put there holds the same value when it comes to the rainy day.
Yeah.
You actually spending it in indirect way. They don't realize that. Yeah. So that mindset needs to change. For now, I don't argue the fact you need to save in the rainy day. How do you control your income? There are certain rules you need to follow.
Yes.
Right. There's this rule that I've read about is called the 50-30-20 rule. Right. Yes. Where 50% of your salary you should spend it on your monthly expense.
Okay.
Any fixed monthly expense, your
utility
ration,
bills,
whatever, it should be 50%.
Okay.
The other 30% divided into two portions. 20% for your car installment, right?
Yeah.
If you have a car, Sorry, 20% for your house installment. So whether you're renting a house or you bought a house and you're paying the installment, it should not exceed 20% of your salary. And the remaining 10% out of 30 is for your car. So either you bought a car on installments, make sure that it should not exceed 10% of your salary. And the remaining 20% is you use it to save, right? But you save to a point where you achieve the emergency fund, right? Because anything can go wrong. La subhanallah, you fall sick, you could release from your work, anything goes. So at least minimum you should have in the bank liquid cash worth of 6 months of your monthly expense. So let's say your salary is 1,000 riyal, your monthly expense
is 500.
500 times 6 is 3,000. Yes. So you should have at least minimum of 3,000 stashed somewhere and locked. Why is that? Because statistically speaking, according to the studies, if you lose your job, which is the worst case scenario, you should be able to survive for 6 months until you get another job.
Yes.
Anything extra, invest it. After that, invest it. You got my point?
Yes.
You've already your emergency fund. Anything extra, you should invest it, because haram, you keep it in the bank for the reason you mentioned. And not only that, it loses value. Somebody's saying, I'm saving up for the next 5 years to get married. I need 10,000 riyal. Who told you after 5 years the mahar will still be 10,000 riyal? Probably 15,000 riyal.
We got married for 2,000, 1,000 riyal, and now you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, so save it up, invest it, so that at least you keep up with inflation, right?
Yes.
And we being Muslim, we end up paying every year what? Zakah. So inflation on average is 3%, right?
Yes.
And zakah is 2.5%. So actually you're paying off 5.5% per year.
Yes.
Find an investment should give you return of investment at least minimum more than what? 5.5%. And there are many investments that you can put it, close your eyes, minimum risk that will give you easily 7 to 8%. Easy.
Before we get into what are the areas that you should invest, how you should invest, I want to talk about the danger of being in the comfort zone. A lot of us don't do anything about our lives because we are in the comfort zone. I have a job, I have a car, I have a house, that's it. Why should I go out of my way and try and find other sources of income? And the idea that nothing can go wrong to me. We noticed during COVID, a lot of people lost their jobs. It means if it happened to them, it can happen to you as well. But we are still in the mindset that this can never happen to me. I'm comfortable. I don't need to go and strive for another income. What can we say about that, Engineer Salim?
Then don't come and complaining why I cannot retire freely, why I'm not driving this luxury car, or why I don't have enough money to send my kids to a good university. If you want to be among the 1% of population, you have to do what the 1% of population does.
Yes.
Which is number one, which is crucial, is getting out from your comfort zone. I'll give an example of myself.
Yes.
Oh, I was very happy. I got my beautiful...
one of the best companies.
Yes, those days, mashallah, was the jewel.
Yeah.
Okay? Still is, but those days it was the company that every engineer wants to work, right? So I had a decent salary. I got my zero interest loan. I built my house in Al-Ghubra. And at that point I said, that's it.
I have everything.
And job security was basically full. You had job security. You have no worries.
Yeah.
Then I said, what am I doing? This life is so boring. Am I going to spend for the next 50 years of my life like this? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
In a day, actually, I took a decision to quit, all right, and join this company in Saudi Arabia, right, and took all my entire family. All happened in 1 week time. I completely changed my life. I said to myself, listen, I know my capability. I'm getting out from my comfort zone. Two things may happen. I may go to the Saudi Arabia and fail miserably and ruin my entire career. I lost a very beautiful chance and I'm not. Or I can go there and work very hard, prove myself, and then climb the corporate ladder. It is because that decision that I took that particular day that where I am now here.
And I'm sure a lot of family members and friends, they thought that you must be insane.
My mother. Number one. What are you doing? What you're doing? You know, you're going to ruin your life. Like, mashallah, behind every great man is a
great woman.
My wife. She was supportive. And this is what I'm telling everybody. If you're going to find your partner, make sure that partner understands your thinking, your goals, because it is that partner, your wife, that will support you during difficult time. My wife, she was always telling me, Dear Salim, do what you think is right. We went to Kish Island. I worked in Kish Island in Iran for 2 years.
MashaAllah.
The small island. There's nothing in there. And my daughter, Faiqa, she was like 1 year. She was with us in the small island for 2 years. And she never complained, my wife. Never. Bil'aks, when I come back to work, she will make the place comfortable to me. She will talk to me. That gave me energy. Another example of my wife. I was in the middle of China Sea. Okay, because I'm a drilling background, working in one of those rigs in the middle of China Sea. And I remember that day, one of the supervisors said very bad word to me. It was a racist environment those days. So I was so angry, so depressed, in the middle of nowhere. All right, I just went there and picked up a phone, and I called my wife. And those days you use an Inmarsat phone.
Yes.
1 minute is $10.
SubhanAllah.
I'm telling my wife, enough is enough. I'm submitting my resignation now, and I'm leaving. She said, Dear husband, you've done 2 years. You have still 1 year to go. Take it. Please take it. And because of that, I continue. So what I'm trying to say, having the right support system is very crucial. Okay? Yes. And the wife is number one, because she is the one who will be with you throughout this journey.
Engineer Salim will take a short break and then come back to discuss more about financial literacy.
Okay, thank you very much.
Dome Podcast. Under one roof.
Dear brothers and sisters, welcome back to Dome Podcast with my honorable guest, Engineer Salim Al Harthy. Welcome back, Engineer.
Thank you very much.
Now, Engineer Salim, from the stories you told us, you were specialized in the oil and gas industry, but now your focus is, diverting towards the financial side. What got you interested very much in the financial side, especially in education, educating others in the financial side? Because I've noticed you've done so many videos, you have a lot of interactions, trainings. People take advice and consultation from you in the financial side, while you're an engineer. So what is this very unique blend that you have?
Okay, I always had a passion for teaching. Mm-hmm. All right, if you go back, you will notice that I always like to teach something. I started off with teaching photography. I'm a professional photographer,
MashaAllah.
So I started teaching photography. All right, and then I started teaching other means of how to invest. So the passion of teaching, it was always in me, because I really amazed and love when I see young minds, develop in front of your eyes, and how they go, that aha moment, that gives me so much pleasure. That
satisfaction.
Yes, huge satisfaction. So it was normal for me to get into, not a business, to get into the side of start sharing knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And finance and how to save, it came natural, because this is what I'm doing. This is what I was taught to. This is how I build up my wealth and career, right? So that was the big portion in me, that I thought it was the best how to share knowledge. I can't share oil and gas. That's more for technical, and not many people will be interested to know the ins and outs. But when it comes to finance and how to invest and all that's touch each and every person in society. So, and as you know, that one of the sadaqa jariyah is ilmun yantafa biha. So I truly believe in that. That will be my legacy, because at the end of the day, as Steve Jobs mentioned, you need to put a dent in the universe. What's your legacy? And that's one of the questions I ask myself. What is my legacy? If I die today, what will I leave behind? All right, what will people remember me of? So I'm hoping those videos that you see outside and all the generation that I'm teaching, and by the way, I'm teaching at the university now. I'm teaching twice. I'm lecturing twice.
What are you teaching in what area?
In economics and social science.
And social science.
Yes, so in the same department. And actually, funny, the course that I'm teaching now is Introduction to Entrepreneurship.
MashaAllah.
So you see, that all, I truly believe that I'm going to leave a legacy behind. People remember me that there was a person named Salim and he taught us. So that's the reason why, naturally I end up in that side.
So, Engineer Salim, if we talk about the concept of investing, should it be done to reach a certain goal, or should it be a lifestyle? I understand now you're very comfortable, you have a secure job, you're a CEO, and you also have your income from in investing. Should there always be a end to this? Because you're doing this, you want to reach a certain goal, or should it be part of life? Whether you achieved your goal or not, you just continue investing because it's the right thing to do.
Well, good question. And if you ask me, it should have an end when the passive income, remember I discussed about the passive income?
Yes.
When the passive income is good enough for you to lead your lifestyle. Right? When you come to a point where you have enough money coming in that you don't depend on your current job, that should be the time where you are free and you have the choice whether to continue working or do anything else that you love doing.
Yes.
But the trick is, what is enough, right? I mean, I've said with people, say, Salah, but I want my passive income to be 3,000 riyal per month, so that I will relax. But you don't know that, right? You don't know that. When you're at the age of 50 or 60, you don't know how much is enough, right? And you need to be truthful to yourself. Everybody wants to have a huge amount when they retire, but you need to be truthful of yourself and adjust your lifestyle accordingly. I know people who has a passive income of 300 riyals. They're very happy. They live in Zanzibar. They have their shamba there, their mazra'a, and they're the most happiest people in their life.
Yeah.
Right?
That is, to them, is the ultimate life.
Ultimate. So you and your spouse need to sit together and think, what is my perfect income that today I can decide salam alaikum job and get out, right? But you need to be realistic. Okay. So if you ask me, I've reached my financial freedom. What I do now is that I love what I'm doing, right? It's not about money. It's something that I'm enjoying doing it, right? So the key is that, to answer your question, at what point you could reach financial freedom. And the definition of financial freedom differs from one person to another. You see what I'm saying? Yeah? So it has an end, but you need to be very careful how you define your financial freedom from your point of view.
What do you think of the idea of increasing your passive income for the aim of letting go of your fixed income?
That's the whole point.
I mean to be khalas, I don't want to work for anybody, I want to be free. Do you think that should be the ultimate goal?
That's financial freedom. Because when you word financial freedom, you need to be free financially so that you can do whatever you want. So long you work for an employer, you depend on him for your livelihood. So you're not free. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You need to find ways and means where you get other source of income to let go of those shackles that today, if I get fired, today, if I lose my job, I'm okay.
Oh, I'm frustrated.
Whatever.
I'm not happy.
And the funny thing is, when you become financially free, you actually perform better.
Really?
Yes, I've noticed that when you become financially free, because you perform for the sake of the job and the love of the job and no other agenda such as having better salary or higher salary or whatever, because that's not your number one priority. It may be a priority, but not number one priority anymore. So you work in a different mindset for the love of it, because if one time you wake up you're not enjoying, you can quit. So the fact that you're not quitting, you're loving it, and because you're loving it, you're doing a better job. See what I'm saying? Yeah.
What about the people who are miserable in their jobs, but they're still stuck. They're not working hard to get a passive income. They're just complaining. And you find many of them, in industries. I hate my boss. I hate my job. I've never been promoted for the last 10 years. But when you ask them, okay, what did you do about it? There's no answer. They are waiting for the sky to open and a miracle to fall from the sky and get them out of this. What would you like to say to those people?
Apart from what I do on Instagram, I give consultancy sessions, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you'll be amazed how many people when I do consultancy have the same issue. What should I do? What should I do? And the answer is very simple: get out from your comfort zone. But I will lose my money. That's the definition of comfort zone. Is to take a risk. So you have two choices: stay miserable for the rest of your life. For a fact you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life, or take a risk. Two things will happen: you'll continue to be miserable, or you'll be happy. At least here there's an option of becoming happy. Here you don't have. Yeah. It's very simple. Don't complicate the matter. Get out from your comfort zone. Work very hard. You'll be surprised how your life will change to the better. But by sitting there, then it's bad. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you see statistically, decision-making process is easier to go this way. Bad, good. So if there's a good option here, but here there's no. So this is what I tend to advise people. It's not easy, by the way, to get out from your comfort zone.
Especially when you have a dependent. So you have family, you have kids.
Again, it's all about mindset again. Do you consider yourself poor or temporarily broke? It's all about mindset, Me getting out from a very good stream of salary, and I had commitment and everything, and knowing that getting out at one point, if I fail, that I will lose all, that was not an easy decision. But I believed in myself. I knew if I don't do it now, when I'm in a deathbed, I will ask myself, what if? And that's the thing, You need to avoid that what if as you become older, So get out from your comfort zone. Please change your mindset. Don't let all these noises distract you of what you want to become.
And that they are an illusion. They're not reality.
It is a perception, basically.
Most of the time we hear these voices, but they're not the truth. Now, Salim, let us talk about the normal people, the average people in companies, as employees. They want to get out there and increase their passive income. Where do they start? What do they invest in? How much do they need? Take us through the process.
As I mentioned earlier,
in a brief.
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, it's all about how you start from your income financial. So once you have the 50-30-20 rule, and you have that 20% to invest, so that 20% you can either choose to save up until you reach a certain capital to start investing in buying an apartment, or at least a down payment for an apartment. So there where it starts. Or you can take that 20% and immediately invest in a stock market. Now the problem with the stock market, people when they hear the word stock market, they go all fearful and worried. No, if I invest in one company, then yes, that's not the way to do it, because that company can easily fail, right? Yes. I mean, where's Yahoo? Where's BlackBerry? They all gone.
Disappeared,
right?
Yeah.
So what you do is, and if you read that book by Graham, I forgot his last name, it's called The Intelligent Investor, is you invest in funds, index funds or mutual funds. What do I mean by that? Let's take an example of one index fund. It's called the S&P 500. Right? The S&P 500 consists of the top 500 companies in America. Right? Now, before I get into that, I remember tweeting, just a week ago, I tweeted that there were two couples, right? Each one have 600 riyals, and they decided to invest combined 200 riyal per month in S&P 500, or one of those index funds. There are many of them. 40 years later, they had 1 million to 1.5 million riyal Omani.
MashaAllah.
I got so much heat about that tweet because a lot of people couldn't understand it. Okay, some people knew what I was talking about, many couldn't. And they consider, oh, you are trying to put people into trouble. This is one of those scams and all that. I said, and then, when you tweet something, you normally just ignore. Now, back to, just to answer to that tweet, for those who are watching me, okay, S&P 500, being one of the index funds, consists of the top 500 companies in America. We all agree that America is the most powerful economy in the world. True or wrong?
Yes.
Economy is being run by companies.
Yes.
So if you invest in the top 500 companies in the world, you actually investing in the economy of America. Right?
Yes.
So you tell me, in the last 30 years, at what point did economy of America was going downhill?
None.
There were areas, the Great Depression, the financial crisis 2018, the
That
COVID.
happened all over the
it
world.
Happens,
yeah.
but also it happens in America. But if you see the curve, all right, with time, it always in the increase manner. So if you invest your money in one of these index, and this is a very important and, you are patient and you wait for these 5 years and more, then you cannot go wrong. You cannot go wrong because you are investing in the economy of America. Unless today a catastrophic event happened in America and the whole America collapsed.
That's a different story.
And not only different story, because it collapsed, then you don't need to worry about your money in there. You need to worry about money here because they're all connected.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you to invest is in the safest investment in the world, which is investing in the best economy in this world. فهمت قصدي ولا لا؟
Yeah.
So by doing that, by putting aside an investment to one of these index or mutual fund, then with time, with the compounding effect, right, your money grow exponentially. That's, like I said, if you tell your kids now who just graduated to invest 200 riyal, by the time they're 60, they will easily have 1 million, 1.5 million al Omani in their bank account by that time. The question is, are they patient enough?
Or not. Or they want to spend it now in the mall.
Exactly, yeah. So this is one of the investment.
Now, Engineer Salim will take another short break and then come to the last bit of our show today.
Thank you very much. Okay, inshallah.
Dome Podcast. Under one roof.
Dear brothers and sisters, welcome back to Dome Podcast with my honorable guest, Engineer Salim Al Harthy. Welcome back, Engineer Salim. Now, you were talking before the break about investing and being patient. I want us to discuss a little bit the idea of, buying what you want against buying what you need. Because at the moment, the trend that we see, that people earn money and consume it fully, immediately. And that does not help them to walk towards the direction of being financially independent. So how can we have a balance between this, Salim?
Wallahi, you can only start buying what you want when the need is covered and you have extra cash to pay for the want. this is the way. If your salary it doesn't justify the want, then you should not go for the want. That brings me another tweet that I tweeted one week
about the car installment. Tell us about that tweet.
It's not about the car installment. What I said is that why will anybody buy a Range Rover or a car that's worth 20,000 and above, while when your salary is delayed for 1 or 2 days, you are in so much financial trouble. So people, they didn't understand that tweet. Why would the salary delay? What has this to do with this? No. Salary delay can happen, whether the company is bad or the bank system didn't work that day, whatever reason. My point was, this guy, he went and buy a 50,000 riyal or 20,000 riyal car, but when his salary delayed 1 day or 2 days, he's in so trouble, then he doesn't deserve to buy that car. You should be able to have a better, smaller car, you should have enough money to keep you in the emergency. You got what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So don't go and buy the want while your salary doesn't justify it yet. And a lot of people I know, they're in that, right? They overspend their salary in things that their salary itself doesn't justify it.
So for the guys, they buy cars. For the ladies, they buy handbags.
Exactly.
Which are 700, 800 riyals.
What makes me angry, those people who buy cars or very expensive handbag, when the salary delays, they'll come to ask money from me or from you. So what will be your reaction is? So, doesn't make sense. You have a Range Rover, and now your salary delayed 2 days.
You can't fill it with fuel.
Exactly.
You can't
so
afford
this is
it.
what I meant by that tweet. Know the basic of your income management before putting yourself. You should be able, and this is to everybody who's watching me, you should manage your finance in such a way you can at least can survive 1 month without salary. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Remember I spoken earlier, you should have 6-month emergency?
Yes.
خلي هذا بعيد. This is the people who really reach to the optimum of financial freedom. But as a normal day-to-day person, على الأقل شيء you should have 1 month worth of salary stashed somewhere. Then you can tell me I'm driving a 20,000 or above real car.
But it's the norm now. Everybody is competing in the outer look and forgetting about the basics. So you find a student who is first year of university, and the parents also are playing a very big role. That okay, now you started university, I'll go and buy you a brand new Lexus.
Let me tell you something about this outer look. It's very, very funny, right?
Yeah.
Okay, imagine somebody is driving a Lexus, right? So what goes in your mind, you as a person who sees that person?
They're wealthy.
No, most likely, no. You said, I wish I had that car.
Yeah.
Because you don't look at that person. Like most of the time when you see a beautiful car, you only see at the car, right?
Yeah, you don't see
You don't
the
care
person,
about who that person is inside.
Yeah.
That's one. So the person who thinks that people are wealthy, it doesn't work. Secondly, if you knew that person, right, and then you tell, shuf maskin, he's really putting himself in debt because you know him, right?
Yeah.
So he makes a mock of himself.
Yes.
But if that person is capable and is a businessman and he has a good career and salary, when he drives the Lexus, then that aura comes out, mashallah alayh. That guy is capable. Shuf kif? Shuf, my son and daughter, be like him. You see the difference here? So don't lie to yourself by buying a fancy car that people look to you in a different نظرة ولا look. No, they actually either laughing at you or they don't look at you, they look at the car, not at you.
You know, the funny thing about our generation, Engineer Salim, is when we graduated from high school, we struggled to get a scholarship or university. Once we got to university, we didn't afford to get a car to go to work. So we used taxis, bus, or hitchhike. So we had a motive to be where we are today. But today, if you have trainees coming into your company working, every one of them is driving Porsche Cayenne, Range Rover, and etc. They don't have a motive to work hard to get that car because they already have it. They don't have the motive because they're living in a beautiful villa. And this brings us to the idea of your kids. Your kids at home, how can you have that balance between I spoil them because I can afford, or I become very harsh on them because I want them to learn the hard way, the same way I learned. So how do we strike that balance?
Until this very day,
yes.
If I give my daughter Sarah, she's like 12 years old or 13 years old, 1 riyal, she kissed my head. 1 riyal.
Mashallah.
If I give her 1 riyal, she comes, oh, thank you, Baba. Oh, thank you very much. Because I try to show them the value of money, okay? I don't just, throw away numbers or give them money just for the case they want it, okay? They rarely get anything easy out of me, even though I can afford it. So it's all about how you or me explain the value of the money to your kids. It's as simple as that. The moment you start pampering them and show them that money is easily obtained, then there where downhill process starts.
Because if you're no longer in the picture, they will struggle.
They will struggle, and also they won't have the value of money. For example, I'll give you an example of my son Faisal, right? He graduated, he's working now. He's not struggling at all, even though his salary as a graduate is not as high, but he's not struggling because he been used to of spending very low. If I treat Faisal and give him high allowance or this or this or this, then by the time he has this salary, then he will realize that what is this? It's peanuts. I can't survive with this.
Yeah.
So it is how you basically is the environment they're living in, and how they go about making money. I mean, if you see my daughter again, even though she works as a digital marketeer, but she also has a side business on the side. She's a fitness instructor. She has clients. She makes money on the side, right? So this another knowledge you put in is that don't depend only on your day job. Try to find other skills, other side hustle where you can make more money.
How do you convince them of this idea? How do you talk to them without them feeling like our dad doesn't love us? He doesn't want to buy us things. He doesn't want to spend money on us. It's a very thin line.
No, it's not a very thin line. It's how you perceive yourself to them. They see me doing it. They see me not buying luxury for the sake of money. They see me not, go and splash money in a restaurant. So how I do it, when Baba is doing it, then he must be right.
Yes.
So this is how they see me. So I talk a lot about investment. I talk a lot about gaining skills and hustling. They see me doing it in real life. Then sometimes you don't need even to tell them. They will surprise you by them doing it by themselves. So it depends on the bia, the environment you are in, all right, and how you do that, how you convey that indirect message to them.
Tell us, Engineer Salim, your interaction on social media. Of course, you get all sorts of people. Some people agree with what you say. Some people disagree. You have tweets. You have videos. You have videos in Arabic. You have videos in English. Sometimes you share with them tips. Tell us about the interaction with it. And this is the platform where you can talk to them and they could know who really Salim is.
No, it depends what platform, because it highly depends on the type of followers you have.
Yes.
On Instagram, alhamdulillah, I would say my followers are people who actually want to achieve financial freedom. I noticed that 90%. So when I talk about different topics and everything, many of them are very highly motivated and really want, you know what I'm saying, yeah? But when I go to my Twitter account, I have different type of followers, right?
Yeah.
They don't
the hot-tempered, the bullying type.
The bullying type, if you want to call it. They're just there to cause damage sometimes. There are a lot of people who understand me, but many of them who just go, "Inta عندك فلوس يا أخي, so who are you to talk about?"
You have money, you're a CEO.
Exactly, but they don't know that, 40 years ago, I was living in a house that had one bedroom and one toilet.
Allah.
They don't know that.
They
don't know that my first daughter, my first son, and my other son was born when I was 4,000 kilometers away in the middle of China Sea.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows that, okay? They don't know that for the first 3 years of my life, I didn't see my family as I was away all the time working hard. They don't know all the history behind it. They just know a person who's a CEO who has money, right?
Yeah.
If I put my CV online there, they will be shocked. The amount of struggle. And because of that loss, I gained so much knowledge and information from those failures that made me a better person today. They don't know that.
They only see
They only see the end result.
The end result,
okay?
yeah.
The end result.
Yeah.
And this is answer to what I was very poor at one point. I was not born with a golden spoon. All right?
You struggled.
Big time. I started with zero. When I started working and I married my wife, the first 1 year, she was the one who was giving me salary.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows that.
Yeah.
All right? Okay? Nobody knows that. So, and I'm trying to explain to that people, whatever I'm tweeting, whatever information I'm giving you is something that I went through. It's not something
it's not theories, something I read in a book or
something that I went through, something I've experienced myself. Okay? And something easily can be done. You just need to work hard, work smart, get out of your comfort zone and change your mindset about life. Making money is so easy provided you change your mindset.
Now, the last tip that I want you to tell the audience is how to earn 5 riyals per month. What is the simplest thing that he can do? And not only for the people who are working, even students in homes, coming towards maybe the summer holiday later on. What can they do to earn a side income to get the ball running?
There's so many ways of doing that. First thing, what you can do is just go to any petrol station, any McDonald's, any fast food, and apply for a job. You'll get a job as an Omani. All right? The question, are you willing to do that?
That's the thing.
Another thing, you can go in any company, ask for internship or a trainee, even though with your high degree, if you don't have a job, with your high degree, any company can easily give a trainee worth of 100 riyal per month for 2 years until you land you're permanent with that job or until you find another job. Would you do that? Or you prefer to sit back until you get your so-called beautiful job, right?
And that's most of the time, this is what the students do. I'm a mechanical engineer, so I only apply for jobs that have to do with my profession. Anything else, anything below, I won't start.
Exactly, and this, when I see a CV, somebody graduated from America or from UK, and then this guy was not working for the last 3 years. Let's say 2019 until 2023, nothing. I said, what have you been doing for the last 4 years? I was at home looking for a job. I will never consider him to employ to my company. Because I don't believe in 4 years you didn't do anything. You can go to the call center, you can work in McDonald's, you can do internship, you can do millions things that doesn't necessarily be the job that you're doing.
Yeah.
Or the degree that you got.
But at least you did something.
You did something, and that by itself sent me a message that this guy is a hard worker. Okay, he really wants to do something with his life, and he's willing to go down to make ends meet, whatever. But just to tell me staying 4 years at home because I didn't get the job, my degree, that's wrong. That's wrong. And people start to realize one thing. Okay, the days of doing the job in accordance to the degree you have is start to vanishing. Forget about it. If you go through the Fortune 500 companies in America now, the top CEO in this 500 company probably, even though he's running an Apple or Google company, probably his degree is in English literature.
Yes.
Which is true.
It's
Many
true.
of them, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So please, the degree that you have is nice, is a foundation. Okay?
But it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. Use that as a foundation, and the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. But if you stick, I did engineering, I have to become an engineer, then trust me, you are lowering your opportunities big time. Use that degree as a foundation, and you can be whatever you want to be. I know people who had educational degree, they're running big companies. I know people that did adab, and you know what I'm saying, yeah? So you need to change that also, and this goes to the parents as well, right? They need to understand that it's very important for your kid to have education, right? But make sure that that's not the end of the road, okay? They can do whatever they want after that. My daughter, she did supply chain management. She's a digital marketeer now.
Totally different.
Totally different, and she's a fitness instructor. And she's making more money than those people who work as supply chain manager now. You got my point?
Yeah.
So change that. We are the lucky ones. I did petroleum engineer. I worked in petroleum engineering industry. But those are start to vanishing, by the way.
Yeah.
In a big time, with the Vision 2040 coming in, with so many small companies, you need to start acquiring the skills of various profession to be able to work in different areas. My son, Saeed, he's doing cybersecurity in JUTEC University, right? I'm saying, okay, good, but at the same time, you do coding, you do AI, you learn artificial intelligence, even so that you have options. And he does that. And mashallah, internet. Oh my God, you have this Udemy, a lot of website where you pay peanuts, $10 a month, and you get wealth of knowledge that you will never get in university. Internet. And I know people who make money without having degree, just the fact they have Wi-Fi connection.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, so that mindset needs to change. And when I see my kids, and I have real life example. Okay, my daughter again, Faiqa, she works for corporate for the first 8 months. She worked in an oil and gas company. I don't need to mention what. And then she came one day, Baba, it doesn't work for me. What do you mean it doesn't work for you? I don't like being bossy around. I don't see myself having a career. I don't see myself growing in this company, and it's not me. So what do? I'm quitting. I'm happy with my fitness. I'm going to get a certificate of being a coach online, how to train pregnant women. I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to establish my own business. She has around 10 clients per month now on average, and each client is paying 180 riyal. You do the math.
MashaAllah.
And on side, he has a side job. On side, she think of opening her own. So you see what I'm saying? Yeah? It's all about here. It's all about here.
I think at the end, I would like to quote my dad who says, الشغل ما عيب ولكن العيب إنك ما تشتغل.
Thank you very much.
You know, working is not shameful, but it is shameful not to work. Thank you very much, Engineer Salim Al Harthy, for joining us today and, you know, giving us the fruits of your knowledge. And I hope it's not the last time you are on our show, بإذن ta'ala.
Thank you, Hatim. It was a pleasure to be here. And inshallah, this podcast will be watched by many people. And again, if you need me anytime here, I'm readily available for you.
Jazakallah khair. Shukran. Dear brothers and sisters, thank you very much for listening and watching Dome Podcast. I'm your host, Hatim Al Abdissalaam. See you next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Dome Podcast. Under one roof.